can. So thank you for being on time. I've come quietly in the actual maker space itself because I thought I'd try and give you a bit, show you how, get a sense of the size of it. It's quite a reasonable size. It's very cluttered, but I was just going to very briefly walk people around what's here. And I'm not an expert on this at the moment, but we have got people here who are, and there will need to be some training around what's here. But behind me, there's a big CNC machine that can do quite large scale pieces and signage and all sorts of sort of mass produced things. We'll come back to what those things could be shortly. In fact, if I walk over here, you'll probably see behind me, she says, behind the clutter and things, there's, you know, you might see that wall there, there's somebody's had a go at taking stuff out of a piece of wood. And we have got some, I know Claire is on the call from Merrick Street, and I know a lot of the things that you make there, Claire, around signs and knick-knacks, I would call them knick-knacks, they're not, but you know, gifts and things where you've, what's the word, personalised things for people can happen here or could happen on a larger batch produced scale. There's this machine here, which is a laser cutter, and again, not a bad size for what it is. I think it, again, can produce things, and you can do things out of plastic and vinyl and all sorts. And that's just an example. It can get quite intricate, the stuff that you can do, as much as we could do, you know, people's logos in things or whatever people want. It can go as intricate as some of this stuff, as you'll see. There are a couple of 3D printers in here. I don't know what this is on this desktop sign maker, whatever that is. There's a kind of piece of kit here. Various sort of laminated things, presses. There's bits of woodworking gear. It was basically set up as a fab lab way back when. And it worked for a number of years, but with a lot of these things, we've been doing research, and a lot of them have not been viable. Again, more tools of varying kinds, jigsaws, circular saws and things like that. I'm just going to have a quick wander in this other room back over here. It has got, there are a couple of 3D printers, and I don't know if this is one of them. Don't ask me, because I'm really rusty with a lot of this stuff is, but there's I think that's what that is. And then there's this, whatever that is. So we will be pulling together an itinerary of what's here, and we will be trying to get together a sense of what you can do with each of these things. And we've got people here today who know to some degree how to use some of this stuff. We'll be looking for other people to help us piece it all together, and there might need to be some specialist training for the team and other people who decide they want to use some of this space. We're up in the air at the minute as to how we will use it, because we want to be guided by what's actually needed. You know, there's things that people want, and then there's things that people actually need. And these things are costly to maintain. There's a lot of costs, unforeseen costs, potentially involved in a lot of this stuff. And we imagine there'll be a number of maybe 5 or 6, maybe up to 10 designer makers who might use this venue to produce some of their goods. We might have a technician who will oversee some things, but also run a bit of a manufacturing business alongside. And this is something I'm looking at you with as well, Una, because I know you're going to be doing all sorts of things. We're certainly not, we're interested in collaboration really, and looking at options in tandem with other spaces. There's a lot of individuals who might want to hire space, run workshops, do things, and that's fine. You know, we can find ways to sort of work around that, but I think looking for 5 to 10 trusted designer makers who want to use this space as their space. Other people might use things ad hoc or get bits and pieces commissioned on a ad hoc basis, and then other kind of community craft people, educators and learners might come and do sessions here, or come up with, you know, a few projects a year with us or something like that. Is my best guess. It's hard to tell at the minute, but I thought I'd come in. I don't know if you've got any questions. I'm popping things in the chat there, which is great. I'm sorry it's sort of a bit of a quick run around there, but I thought we'd just, at least if you got to see it, the other people have had a chance for a bit of a walk round. we are going to get into conversations shortly just to think about who's got wants and needs, and who's, you know, offers and ideas of ways to perhaps make this space work well. So that's what we'll do shortly. But any questions before I stop recording for a minute?
I just popped a quick message, Nick, about if there were any screen printing facilities.
I don't know, but I can ask, and we can. It's the space to put stuff. So
yeah.
There's, you know, having that as a future need, or space to do that, is something we can factor in. And you're probably not the only person with that kind of request. When you say screen printing, what would you be screen printing?
Well, things like t-shirts or bags or, you know, material.
Got you.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, textile on to things.
Yeah.
We shall see. I'm just going to stop recording here, and then we'll bring you in the main room and get chatting about what we might do here.